Hey everybody, this is Maxine Taylor, Georgia's first licensed astrologer since 1968. Welcome to Astrology 101. You know, everybody loves to hear about astrology and everybody loves to hear about themselves. I am going to show you in the series of classes that I'm going to be sharing with you how to interpret the birth chart very, very simply. When I started studying astrology in 1966, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have computers. We used to cast the horoscope by hand, and it took hours to interpret it. And I thought at the time, there has to be an easier way because I'm about simplifying things. And sure enough, I found an easier way. So the information that I'm going to be sharing with you is found in my #1 best-selling book on Amazon. Now that I've cast it, what do I do with it? Some of you may already have a copy. I hope you'll follow along, and if you have your own birth chart, now would be a really good time to pull it out of the drawer, because what I'm going to do is start from ground zero, and I'm going to explain step by simple step how to interpret your own birth chart. I years ago asked a friend of mine why she wanted to sit in on my classes because I'd already read her chart to her, and she said, Maxine, nobody gets tired of hearing about themselves. So, if you've had your chart read, hear it again for the first time. Follow along as I take you step by step around the zodiac. Now, as you can see right over here, we have a wonderful zodiac that describes what a blank chart looks like. So let me tell you exactly what you're looking at. As you notice, the chart is divided like a pie into 12 pieces. We know it's 12 because we start here at house #1. These are called houses. These divisions are houses. And by the way, as you can see, each house deals with a different area of life, and we will run around the chart and talk about them. So we have 12 houses, and here they are numbered very simply counterclockwise, and so in your own personal chart you have 12 houses. Now we have 10 planets, 2 nodes, and 12 houses. This means that when we actually look at the chart, some of those houses are going to be empty. That doesn't mean that part of life is devoid of any energy. It means it's simply not as important as the houses that have planets in them. And we will take that, as I said, step by step. But first, let's look at a wonderful description of each of the houses. Let's start, first of all, with the first house. This is the most personal point in the chart. This is the house that describes your physical appearance, your personality. It describes you more than your sun sign, in fact. And when we get to it, there's going to be a sign, a zodiacal sign, on each cusp, each edge. The sign that is right here, if this were a clock dial, this would be 9 o'clock. The sign that lands here is called your rising sign, and that rising sign describes you more powerfully even than your sun sign. So you can see the importance of the first house. Very often there are no planets in the first house. If you've got your birth chart in front of you right now and you have an empty first house, you may be saying, does this mean I have no personality? No, not at all. What it means is this is not the lifetime in which you chose to be assertive and to take charge and to put yourself first. There's nothing wrong with doing that. There's no judgment in astrology. It simply is. And so here we have the first house. It describes you more personally than any other house. Let's move on to the second house. And this is the one everybody wants me to look at when I do their horoscopes. This is the house of money and possessions. And people can be our possessions. Chairs, tables, cash, money. Very, very important. But these possessions determine our value structure. And so, if you have nothing in your second house, don't worry. It doesn't mean you're going to be living in a box under a bridge. What it means is that money per se is not part of your focus, because when we get to it, you'll see that the horoscope is a snapshot of you taken of the heavens at your exact moment of birth. And many of you know that in order to do your own chart, I have to have your exact minute of birth, the month, day, and year, and the city where you were born. Some of you already knew that. Okay, so we're going to get to that snapshot. The third house, very, very important. This is the house that deals with communication. It's our mouth and our mind. It's what we think about, how we communicate. It deals with short trips. And if you have any planets in your third house, you know you get bored easily and you want to take short trips, and you're a talker. And if you are not programmed to express your ideas, you're certainly thinking them. The fourth house, very, very important. This fourth house is the foundation of your life. It deals with home and family. It deals with emotional security needs. And it deals with the nurturing parent, which traditionally is mother. Although nowadays, there are a lot of men who stay home while their wives go to work. So we are not sure whether it's mother or father until we actually look at the person's chart. So if you have planets in your fourth house and you've been wondering, is this my mother or my father? If I sit down with you and interpret your chart, I should be able to help you determine that, okay? So this is very, very important. People with fourth house planets love to touch base with family members. They love to touch base at home. If they go out to dinner, they will stop at home first. I used to ask a friend of mine, why do you have to go home before we go out to dinner? Are you afraid the house won't be standing? I thought I was being funny. He was taking it seriously. Okay. Fifth house, the house of fun and games. And this is all kind of fun and games. Yes, let your imagination go wild. Do you like sports? Do you love to play a musical instrument? Do you just love to sit in front of the TV with a bowl of popcorn and the remote? That's fun. Fun and games. Now, the fifth house also deals with children. So if you have children, they're going to show up in this fifth house. Very often our pets are our children. And I read them in the fifth house if that particular person has a pet that is like a child to them. The sixth house, very important house. This house deals with your work, your health, and your service, whatever service you provide to the planet. And when we look at this sixth house, if you have any planets in your sixth house, you're a worker. You want to be needed, you want to be busy all the time, and you don't want to just cross those T's and dot those I's. You want to be contributing. You want to feel that you're needed. In fact, if you have planets in your sixth house, if someone says to you, I need you, what they're really saying is, I love you. And I'm going to go over this again so that by the time we are finished with these shows, you're going to be able to interpret not just your own chart, but everybody else's. Okay? Seventh house, very, very important. The seventh house is directly opposite the first. The first house is you. So the seventh house deals with all of your relationships, from business relationships to personal relationships. It deals with the public. It deals with open enemies. It deals with litigation, which is very, very interesting because the seventh house deals with marriage, or at least a legal union. And so the seventh house deals with legal unions. You meet someone, you have a legal union, everything's wonderful, and then you decide, oh, this isn't working. The seventh house is the house of open enemies, and so that partner can become an adversary. And so then you take the relationship to court or to an attorney, once again the seventh house, to dissolve it. On the other hand, you may have a relationship that goes on for 20, 30, 40, wonderful years while the two of you learn about each other and help each other grow. Again, it depends on the planets in the 7th house, which we will touch on, of course. 8th house, wow. This is the most powerful house in the entire zodiac. It deals with transformation. The 8th house is the house of secrets, and if you've got anything in your 8th house, people entrust you with their secrets. You may not want them, you get them, and you have to keep them to yourself. The 8th house is the house of power and control, and you will learn in this lifetime to let go of control and simply take charge. That's the highest version of this house. The 8th house also deals with joint finances, other people's money. And if you have anything in the 8th house, you're wonderful at helping people create money. 9th house deals with our principles, our belief systems, our philosophy. It deals with long trips, whereas the 3rd house deals with short trips. Can you see how it's a very balanced circle? And so anything in the 9th house helps you stand back, see the big picture. You see the forest in spite of the trees. The 10th house, oh, this is the one that the world sees. This is your public image. This is your career. A lot of people are retired and say, I don't have a career. I beg to differ. Yes, you do. It can be simply nurturing your grandchildren. It can be teaching something at a local YMCA, or it can be gardening. Whatever it is, you don't have to earn money for it. That is your public image. And the 10th house is traditionally the out front parent, the person who teaches you how to deal with the world. The 4th house parent teaches you about home and family. The 10th house parent teaches you how to deal with other people. Now, it can be your mother. It doesn't have to be the father figure. Again, it's up to you, what you chose to create in this lifetime. It is mirrored and reflected and illustrated in the chart. 11th house deals with our friends and group activities. This is the house of the humanitarian, and you're going to find that if you have any planets in the 11th house, I can tell you right now, and I'll probably say it again, you ask yourself at least once a week, am I crazy or is the world crazy? Because you are so far ahead of your time. You are the humanitarian. And you see how important it is to create peace and harmony for the whole. Because when you do it for the whole, the individuals within the whole also feel it. Most people don't think that way. And so you have always felt that you were different. You are. I mean that as a compliment. Pat yourself on the back for that one. And the last house is the 12th house, and this deals with behind-the-scenes activities of all kinds. And I know your mind is going round and round on that one. All kinds. When I look at the United States chart or the chart of other countries, very often there's a huge amount of 12th house activities for obvious reasons. They don't share everything. Surprise. They keep it private, behind the scenes, okay? Now, it rules the subconscious, it rules the spirit world, and if you have any planets in your 12th house, you have to have time alone at least once a day just to dream. Are you a dreamer? You can take those dreams and make them reality, because that 12th house is filled with communication with what we call the other side. And so you're a natural mystic. Okay. Now, that's the blank chart. I want to take you through the planets. And we're going to put each planet one by one in each of the houses. Follow along if you have your birth chart. Hopefully, this will be eye-opening and you will hear it again for the first time. We're going to start with the first planet, which is the Sun, obviously, because that is the sign we know. In fact, you know your sun sign. If you were born on a certain day, you know if you're an Aries or a Taurus or a Gemini. But did you know that all of the planets fall in different signs? And they express differently because of that. So you know your sun sign. It's very rare that I find somebody in my talks who doesn't know their sun sign. They know their birthday. If they don't know their birthday, we're in trouble. Okay, so the sun is the center of our universe, isn't it? I don't know if you can see that yellow. It really is pretty. Wherever the sun is the center of your life. Now, there's an esoteric interpretation as well as a psychological interpretation of each planet. The sun is the ego, and the sun is the creative force. And you might say, that's great. Now, how do we interpret that in the chart? Well, I'm going to tell you. The sun is also Daddy's message to you. So if the sun is in your first house, the center of your, forgetting whatever sign it's in, the center of your life is you, your body, your personality, your appearance. So you're going to say, me first, because the first house of the zodiac is a me first house. And you might say, well, that makes me sound very selfish. Oh, no, it doesn't. I want you at my next party because you're the one who lights up the room. You're able to talk about yourself. You're able to share ideas about yourself. And that breaks the ice for everyone. In other words, as I go through, I tend to be a very positive person. I'm an ordained minister with the Universal Brotherhood, and I see everything as positive, even the so-called bad planets or bad aspects. There's no such animal. It's just energy, and we'll get to that in a little bit. So the center of your life is you, and your father, your daddy's message is put yourself first. This is by his presence or his absence. Either he did put himself first or he didn't. Now, some people say to me, I never met my father. I was adopted. Wonderful. Your adopted father is the one that you're looking at here, whoever you consider to be your father. Grandfathers, grandmothers very often raise children. And so it can be grandfather. However, there is a daddy involved on some level. If the father is not present, it is by his absence that he gives the child the message, you're on your own, kid, and you need to put you first. And I say, bravo, go for it. Put yourself first. There is nothing in the chart that you want to squelch. This is your roadmap for this lifetime. Do it. Okay, let's say you have the sun in the second house of money. So the center of your life is money and possessions. And wherever the sun is, it lights it up. The sun is the giver of life. Now, you might be saying, well, I've got the sun in the second house, but I never seem to have enough money. What I have found is that people with a second house sun always feel that they don't have enough money. It's really funny. Does it mean they're going to win the lottery? I don't know, but it's worth a try, isn't it? Daddy's message is, get the money, honey. Make sure that you get the possessions. Make sure that you hang on to things, because this is the house of things, all right? Third house. This is the house of the conscious mind. And wherever the sun is in your chart, as I said, that's the center of your life. Well, you've got great ideas. It's like you have a bulb that goes off in your head. This is to the sun in the third house. Daddy taught you to talk and certainly to think. You get bored very, very easily. You've got to be on the move at all times because this is the house of mental curiosity. This house also describes your siblings, brothers and sisters, the oldest one in particular. And I'm going to explain what I'm talking about for the advanced student in just a minute, because I'm going to go into charts within charts. This is not meant to get complex. It's meant to simplify. Okay, let's put the sun in the fourth house. Very exciting placement. Now, the sun is a masculine planet, and it represents daddy. So right away, we think, oh, the fourth house parent, the nurturing parent, the one who taught you how to deal with family members is your father by his presence or his absence. However, with the sun in the 4th house, the center of your life is your home and your family and security needs. I also want to add that the 4th house is the end of life. I don't mean that moment just prior to lifting off and taking off, but I'm talking about the mature part of your life. And what that sun in the 4th house says is it gets better and better and better. And those of you who don't have your birth chart in front of you now are probably wishing you did. And let me mention this. If you will contact me at my website, MaxineTaylor.com, tell me that you would like a printout of your chart so that you can follow along, I'll be happy to do that at no charge for you. MaxineTaylor.com. Okay. Now, let's look at the sun in the 5th house. Wow. When I see the sun in the 5th house, I know that this is a person who loves to have fun. And they're very good at having fun. Are they an athlete? Maybe. I don't know. But fun is what it's all about. So the center of their lives is fun, creativity. They could be artistic, but they know that life is a game and they want to play it. Now, this is the house of children. And what's so interesting is that this sun in the 5th house tells us that your child puts himself first. This is the child's 1st house. Remember the 1st house of the zodiac. This is you. This is your child's 1st house. And so we can say that Daddy's message was to have fun, but Daddy is a surrogate child to you. How did he teach you to have fun? He was childlike. And your first child is going to be his or her own authority figure. Hope that's not too complex. Okay, moving along. 6th house. If you have the sun in the 6th house, you are such a doer. The center of your life is service. It's being needed. It's being busy all the time. And Daddy's message was, get a job. But the sun is the authority figure. The two luminaries, the sun and the moon, those are our authority figures. And so that sun there says, whatever job you have, you need to be the boss. Whatever project you're working on, you need to be the boss. Okay? Makes sense, doesn't it? Now, let's talk about the 7th house of partnership. With the sun in the 7th house, the center of your life is partnership on all levels. You've got to have that one-on-one relationship. Now, Daddy's message is get married, get married, get married. Not literally, but that's the message. Also, very often there is an emotional attachment to your father so that you are equals. Very, very interesting. The sun in the 8th house, this is the house of transformation. And what the sun there says is that your ego is going to undergo a transformation in this lifetime, that you're able to help other people with their values and their money. It is awesome. And Daddy's message is keep private. Keep your secrets to yourself. Because anything in the 8th house is going to be transformed. The sun in the 9th house, center of your life is the big picture, your philosophy of life, your principles. Daddy's message is go long, get on a plane and go. The sun in the 10th house, this tells us that Daddy is the out front person. He's the out front parent. He's the one who said, be on top. Make sure that you're the boss. However, what you have probably found is that every time you climb up to the top, someone else is there already representing Daddy to you. Isn't that interesting? There's always a little catch-22 on these things. You may have noticed that. Okay, the sun in the 11th house. I love the sun in the 11th. Now, the center of your life then, because remember, that's what the sun is, the center of our lives. Center of your life is friendship, but it's humanity. It's dealing with other people's children. If the 5th house is your children, the 11th house is other people's children. Who are other people's children? Everybody. The entire world is someone else's child. And so this is why you see the good in the whole and use it toward the betterment of the whole. It makes you a humanitarian. Okay. And Daddy's message is be a friend. And there's the sun in the 12th house. So the center of your life is nobody's business. It's private. You need your solitude and your privacy. The center of your life is very spiritual. You've got to be alone once a day just to process what's been going on. You cherish your privacy. You love it. Now, I promised to talk about charts within charts. So here we go. The 7th house is partnership. Let's look at it as marriage. Okay? It doesn't matter what type of marriage, it is a marriage. This 7th house is your first spouse, your first husband or wife. If you've been married more than once, you count 2 more houses. This is your second spouse. 2 more houses. This 11th house is your third spouse. And by the time you hit the first house, you have met your match because you're looking at yourself, aren't you? And you might say, oh my goodness, there's so much involved. Yes, when you have a horoscope interpreted, you can see everyone in your chart. So let's just take a look at your first spouse. This is his, I'll say his for generic purposes. This is his personality, this is his money, this is his mind, this is his home, his kids, his job. Oh, that's you, your money, etc., etc., etc. If you have 2 spouses, there's the second spouse. That's his personality and temperament, his money, his ideas, etc., etc., etc. And so you can go around the wheel. You can do it with children as well. If you have 3 children, here's your first child in the 5th house. The 7th house is your second child. So your second child and your first spouse are teaching you the same exact messages. There's your third child. If you're married twice and have 3 kids, they are both, the third child and the second spouse, are both teaching you what you need to know. That's it for this segment. Please join me next time when we go through the moon and Mercury and all the other planets. If you would like a copy of a printout of your chart, please feel free to contact me at MaxineTaylor.com. I will be delighted to send you the printout. It's not the interpretation, it is the chart itself. And that way you can follow along with us. So join us again next time at Astrology 101.